Hi everyone, my name is Jacqueline Walliser and I am the owner of and attorney at the Walliser Law Firm. Thank you so much for joining me today for the third video and an educational video series that I am doing on legal planning tools to plan for your family and your estate. I am so excited that you have joined me today because my goal in doing these videos is to educate the public on legal planning tools to help them avoid legal messes that I often see. So if you're watching this video, you're being educated, and that makes me happy. So the previous video, we talked about a healthcare power of attorney, which is the document or the legal planning tool that gives your agent the legal right to make healthcare decisions for you. But we ended with a big question, and that question was, does your agent have any instructions on actually what specific healthcare decisions you would want to have made? And the answer is yes, that they do, but it's through a different legal planning tool, and that's through a living will, also known as an advance directive. Now, this is an important legal planning tool because it gives instructions to your doctor and your agent in regards to what life-prolonging procedures you may or may not want when you are at your end of life. It's super important to have this because without these instructions, typically the decision on these life-prolonging procedures is left in the hands of the doctor. Now, the doctor may defer to your family members, but oftentimes your family members defer back to the doctor. And now we're left in this terrible limbo where no one knows what to do, and all the while you may be on the ventilator for a few weeks or even longer. But the good news is with a living will, you can avoid this outcome by leaving clear rules and instructions to your doctor and your agent on what healthcare decisions you would want to have made. Now, the truth is that probably everyone watching this video has a living will of some sort. If you've ever been to the doctor and have had some kind of surgery or procedure, then you've signed the doctor's form of the living will. Now, this is absolutely better than nothing, but it's often very limited in scope. It will cover maybe artificial respiration and artificial hydration and nutrition, but that's it. And there's a lot of other life-prolonging procedures that you may want your living will to cover. What about dialysis? What about CPR? What about medications? And a plethora of other things that may not be covered. Now, you need to seek your own legal advice and speak to a legal professional about what your living will says and whether it would be a good idea for you to add some additional options to your living will. Another thing to keep in mind is that the living will really normally does a pretty specific thing, and that is it gives instructions for what you initially want in terms of life-prolonging procedures. But it doesn't give instructions in regards to continued use of these life-prolonging procedures. So we could end up in a situation where you're on the ventilator for 2 weeks or more, and you may not want to be on the ventilator for 2 weeks or more. So in the living wills that I draft, I give my clients the option to state a specified amount of time that they would want to be on certain life-prolonging procedures that they have chosen. So for example, it may say after 10 days, if I am still terminal, no hope of recovery, or in a vegetative state, I direct that my agent and my doctor take me off of artificial respiration. Now, of course, that's only if you're terminal in a vegetative state or no hope of recovery. So it's very important to have because we want to leave those instructions so that you have some control over this point in your life. At that point in time, you can no longer communicate your wishes. And so we want to make sure that your wishes are being followed. Furthermore, this brings a great peace of mind to your family to know that they are doing these things as if you would be doing them yourself. It's really hard for a child when they don't have these instructions and they wonder, is this what mom or dad would do? So that's the living will. It's important because we want to leave instructions and we want to leave guidance and we want to make sure that that decision is their own, that it's not left in the hands of a doctor who probably doesn't even know us. And if it is in the hands of our children, that we give our children some guidance to give them peace of mind. Now, I hope you'll join me for the next video on Monday, April the 16th. These first 2 videos have focused on healthcare, but the next videos I'm going to be discussing another very important part of your estate, which is legal and financial. Specifically, we're going to start with the General Durable Power of Attorney. Now, most of you have probably heard of that and think you know all there is about it, but I encourage you to tune in for the next video because you may learn some surprising things. Now, if you have been enjoying this content and are interested in learning more, I've included a link below where you can subscribe to a free monthly newsletter where I'm going to be sending out newsletters with more in-depth and detailed content on these specific legal planning tools. So thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you will join me next time, and I hope you learned a lot and are now better prepared to plan for your family and your estate.